In case you haven't already heard of him, we're going to introduce you to one of the bravest boys you'll ever meet.
Dorian was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer nearly 4 years ago, and all he's asked for since is to be famous.
It's a wish that's coming true thanks to the power of social media and the hashtag #DStrong.
Eyewitness News reporter Walt Buteau sat down with Dorian and his mom and joins us now with their story.
Technology is definitely setting the story around the world fast, where many know about Rob Gronkowski's grit and guts. Well, now Rob knows a thing or two about Dorian.
It's kind of like based on Pokemon.
Dorian,
The breakthrough cards.
is one of the toughest 8-year-olds you'll ever meet.
All the meds, everything we have to go through, it's just a lot. It's a lot to take.
You seem really strong, though.
I am.
After more than 3.5 years of fighting cancer and a bad checkup in December,
How are you, buddy?
Dee and his family made the decision to stop treatment just after the new year. Then 3 days ago, the boy with the enchanting blue eyes told his dad he had a goal.
I'm just thinking before I go to heaven to try to be famous like as much as I can.
What followed was a social network tidal wave. A couple of posts on Facebook, a few more on Twitter, and before his family and friends knew it, the world responded to DStrong.
You have to like stay strong for D. I've got in Paris, Japan.
Pictures from the Wall of China, from Australia, Switzerland, and then a face-to-face with Gronk. What are they saying about you?
They're just saying to just keep fighting and that they all believe in me. And it's really nice to know that so many people are have my back for me.
He seemed older to us too, with a sense of humor to match, despite what he's faced and still faces.
I'm 8.
You seem a lot older than 8.
Trust me, I'm 8.
Do you have an ID?
I have my birth certificate.
There is much more to this story, and we'll hear from Dorian and Dorian's mom about many of the issues facing kids with pediatric cancer. 100 types, more than 100 types of this type of cancer, a low survival rate, and not a lot of money donated to that cause. More on that later this week. For now, we're live. Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
Well, now the latest on a story that would have been hard to miss over the past few days.
Dorian Murray's wish continues to grow with his fame.
Do you feel famous now?
Yes, I feel very famous.
This 8-year-old story has zipped around the world thanks to social networking. Tens of thousands of people are holding DStrong signs, from the Providence Police Department to rapper 50 Cent.
And tonight we're hearing from Dorian's mom about what her little boy has been through and what she hopes happens next.
Eyewitness News reporter Walt Buteau has more in this week's Street Story.
As Dorian's fame continues to grow, now his mom has a wish.
I've been making all these towers.
As Dorian was building imaginary worlds of dragons,
You collect gold.
where cancer doesn't exist,
Before I go to heaven,
he told us why he wanted to be famous.
because then I can get lots of girls.
What?
Girls.
Girls. Okay. How old are you again?
I just turned 8.
It's a good goal. His charm is matched by his strength.
Hey, buddy.
Almost 4 years of treatment ended just a few days short of his 8th birthday.
Yes, it is very, very tough. It is very tough.
I couldn't be prouder. Yeah, he's my hero. He's gone through so much, and every day he makes me proud.
His mom tells us Dorian was 4 when a sore leg and a lack of energy prompted a checkup that was far worse than routine.
He had a 9-inch tumor in his leg at 4 years old. And then they found cancer throughout the rest of his body, and it was devastating and life-changing.
There were prayers and hope, ups and downs. But when cancer was found in Dorian's spinal fluid in December, the family was faced with longer odds and an impossible choice.
He made the same decision that we did as well, knowing full well what stopping his treatment would mean for him and his life.
And then I got a Pokemon.
And he made it.
Dorian Strong!
Now, as friends and family and absolute strangers help Dorian enjoy life at the top,
Yes, it makes me feel very, very good.
His mom wants his story to eventually motivate more than texts and tweets.
And pediatric cancer is the top killers of children, and yet it's so severely underfunded.
The stats show about 1 in 300 children will get it, and 20% will die. Dorian's mom hopes his fame will somehow spark a movement to improve those long odds. So what happens now?
Now we make him famous. We're home, keeping him comfortable, and just enjoying the time that we have with him.
So in the end, Dorian's true claim to fame might be that he helps countless other children battling cancer. In Providence, Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
Since we first met international sensation Dorian Murrow, we've received a lot of comments from others battling cancer. Tonight, a unique connection between the kid who's captivated the world and a local man who met him by coincidence. Eyewitness News reporter Walt Buteau with more in this week's Street Story.
Even as a quiet passenger in a 30-foot limo, Dorian had an impact. Before Dorian ever got to Foxborough to watch the Patriots from a luxury box, this limo cruised up to his Westerly home.
Honestly, I was starstruck.
And Peter DeAngelis rolled out the red carpet. That's what happens when you're famous, from here to the Far East.
Paris, Japan.
And his first words he got in the limo was, "Wow."
Do you feel famous now?
Yes, I feel very famous.
I felt like I was there with a superstar. I was getting goosebumps.
This 36-year-old is absolutely inspired, like many other grown-ups,
Based on Pokemon?
by this 8-year-old.
A lot of people in this world have something to learn from him, whether they're sick or not.
About halfway to Foxborough, Peter told the Murrays about his battle. The two men understand how sometimes cancer treatment doesn't work. After almost 4 years of fighting, the Murrays decided to stop Dorian's treatment when cancer cells were discovered in his spinal fluid.
That's what they said.
The first time doctors tried chemo to stop Peter's stage 4 lymphoma, it failed.
That feeling that you get when you realize it didn't work and you have to do it all over again.
It is very, very tough. It is very tough.
It's the pain,
Butterfly in, it's the needle, all the meds,
the sickness.
it's everything we have to go through. It's just a lot. It's a lot to take.
You seem really strong, though.
I am.
His strength at his age, going through what he's doing, renewed my sense of positivity and strength for what I'm still going through.
A second round of chemo about 6 months ago is working so far for Peter. And he tells us he'll never forget the lesson he learned from this superstar.
There's no more complaints. No more complaints.
At one point, Peter looked at Dorian's mother and said how important it was to stay positive. Dorian shook his head and said, yep. In Johnston, Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
Now a special street story. Tonight, we're remembering Dorian.
He made a final wish to be famous before going to heaven, and Walt Buteau takes a look back at all Dorian experienced since making that wish. He joins us with more in this week's Street Story.
His story went around the world thanks to you and the internet.
Like, you can just pick whatever you want.
One of Dorian's favorite things to do, even before he was famous,
It has a special power.
was playing a game called Dragon City.
And then once you get them like really, really strong, the food, you can bring them into battle.
Dorian went to battle when he was 4. Rhabdomyosarcoma, 7 ugly syllables that meant shock for his family.
He had a 9-inch tumor in his leg, and it was devastating and life-changing.
How are you, buddy?
The Murrays fought it together, with this tough-as-nails kid leading the way.
All the meds, everything we have to go through, it's just a lot. It's a lot to take.
You seem really strong, though.
I am.
But 4 years into the struggle, cancer crept into his spinal cord. The long odds, suddenly longer.
He made the same decision that we did as well, knowing full well what stopping his treatment would mean for him and his life.
It was the Sunday before this interview when Dee told his dad he wanted to be famous at the bridge in China. Bridge, Great Wall, it didn't matter. They put the message out there, and the world responded.
I just try to be famous as much as I can, because then I can get lots of girls.
What?
Girls.
Girls, okay. How old are you again?
I just turned 8.
It's a good goal.
Almost everybody's sending texts every 30 seconds. They're just saying to just keep fighting and that they all believe in me. And it's really nice to know that so many people have my back for me.
I couldn't be prouder. Yeah, he's my hero.
Dorian's fame got him a face-to-face with a SEAL. He won a boxing title. There was VIP treatment at places like Legoland. Luxury box seats at a playoff game where he made quite an impression on the limo driver who was also battling cancer.
A lot of people in this world have something to learn from him, whether they're sick or not.
It was an amazing final run for an astonishing little boy who dreamed big.
I'm just thinking before I go to heaven to try to be famous like as much as I can.
His spirit lives on in a foundation created by his parents. Find out more at WPRI.com. Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
The young face of Dorian Murray, who captured the world with his guts and his charm, also helped publish a book before he left us.
And now that book's funding a cause near and dear to the loved ones Dorian left behind. Eyewitness News reporter Walt Buteau has more in this week's Street Story.
Not many of Dorian's sentences had a bigger impact than this one.
I'm just thinking before I go to heaven to try to be famous.
Among the countless he inspired, author Nicole Canella.
And I was drawn to that little face.
Her sister was diagnosed with cancer.
Stay D strong.
As D Strong was blazing across the internet.
I stopped and I watched the two of you engaging.
What do you think would be good about being as famous as you can?
Because then I can get lots of girls.
What?
Girls.
Girls.
I loved his humor.
Trust me, I'm 8.
I loved his wit.
I have my birth certificate.
And his candor.
It is very, very tough. It is very tough.
You feel like you were guided to Dorian somehow.
Yeah, 100%.
She contacted Dorian's mother about writing a book to help children fight what Dorian fought since he was 4.
And that meant everything.
Nicole remembered how this rock-tough 8-year-old responded to a question about how strong he was.
And he said, I am.
I am.
Sort of the tiredness, I think, a little bit in his face.
Everything we have to go through, it's just a lot.
And his words were woven into one stanza about when it's impossible to be strong.
And on days that I cannot, my mom or dad, they hold me tight and say my back they've got.
It's really nice to know that so many people have my back for me.
The title is Leaving a Mark, as in the mark Dorian left and the mark cancer leaves.
The bumps, the bruises, losing your hair.
The needle, all the meds.
Just the marks that they leave on your body.
When she finished the manuscript, she brought it to Dorian.
I was very nervous to read a book.
Nervous?
To read a book about cancer to a child who is staring it in the face.
He read it.
Don't be afraid.
About 11 days before he died.
Always believe in yourself.
He wrote the foreword that, like Dorian, was wise beyond his years.
And he said, don't be afraid. You can be a champion too. Always believe in yourself and never give up.
Funding is very poor for pediatrics.
Dorian Murray's mom, Melissa, wrote the afterword. All of the royalties from this book will go toward the fight against pediatric cancer to nonprofits that include Hasbro Children's Hospital and the Dorian J. Murray Foundation. Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.